Welcome to the World of Horror podcast with Mom and Mac. This is the podcast where we share our love of international horror. But sometimes we invite a guest on to discuss a film that means the world of horror to them.
Today, joining us for the second time to discuss a film that means the world of horror to her, host of Residue, a true crime podcast, and our friend, Chrissy Champagne. Welcome back to the podcast,
Hello.
Chrissy.
Thank you for having me back. I had
Thanks
so
for coming
much fun
back.
last time.
Yeah,
So did we.
it was a blast. I was thinking about it, and I was legit looking like, oh, can't wait to talk to Chrissy Champagne. I keep telling my boyfriend, like, we're talking to Chrissy Champagne today.
Oh, yay. That's what I was like. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait.
Oh,
I even printed out notes.
wow.
Wow.
It's more
you
than I
guys are
did.
like, yeah, usually Mac's like the note taker, but
I'm learning from him.
Mac was texting me throughout the movie, and he was like, these special effects are amazing. And like,
I really like this movie. I feel like I watched it on Peacock, and in the top left corner, it was like 30%, like, basically just saying, hey, people think this movie sucks. And I was very shocked. I thought it was like, it feels like the best made for TV movie, I guess, ever made.
It was really crazy. Like some of those effects, like the chalkboard.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, how do you think of that?
Cool.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a lot like Poltergeist. And then I Googled it. Like, he's taking a lot of things from Poltergeist.
I'm okay
like
with it.
The pool, or like the main actress is wearing the same shirt that the mom wears in Poltergeist to bed.
Oh.
So I don't know why, but that chalkboard scene reminded me a little bit of the pool scene in Poltergeist. I don't know.
I was getting a lot of like Nightmare on Elm Street vibes, like the whole way, like especially the sheets and like kind of coming through the wall. But I was totally okay with it. I was like, we all know you're just, we're just seeing this, but I'm having a great time.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Yeah. And I feel like the casting is perfect for this movie. Every character, I know exactly what I'm supposed to think about them from the moment they enter.
Exactly. And I loved Mary Lou Maloney.
Me too. She's an icon.
Me too.
I was like,
She's
why
a
isn't that
badass.
girl in more movies?
Yeah.
She kind of looked like Megan Fox a little bit to me. I don't know, like that like really striking look.
Mm-hmm.
That
the dark
she's a star.
haired beauty. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw something on YouTube that said she was a retired, or maybe it was a Wikipedia, but that she's a retired actress. So, yeah, I don't know how much she worked, but she's doing something else now.
Maybe we can pull her back in. a la Quentin Tarantino. Bring her back.
yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I saw an interview with her, and she's still gorgeous. So. Good for
that
her.
Timeless beauty.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's a prom queen.
And Vicky is just such a different look from her, too.
She's amazing. I feel like that actress also did, like, her, when she's talking to her boyfriend, not Billy. Billy is such a great name for any, like, high school boyfriend character. When she's talking to her boyfriend, is it Billy? No, that's her dad. That's his dad. But she's just saying, I think I'm scared I'm going to hurt someone. And, I really don't know what's going on. That actress was doing such an amazing job. I was like gripped, Yeah.
And I have to say, when you mentioned her dad, her boyfriend's dad, what was his name again? The principal of the school?
Billy, what's their last name? They have a weird last name. Yeah, something like Norder.
Why did he become the principal of the school where his ex-girlfriend who cheated on him died in a fire?
And why would you not then be the most like, I need to stop everything. Like, I'm keeping an eye on this, but you're like at the last minute gonna do something.
Exactly. And also, if you are the principal, why are you keeping like a chest full of the stuff from the 1950s where the whole school basically perished and like everyone, or at least she did. And everyone is like, let's just tuck this away and leave it up in the attic. Or it was in the basement. I don't know where it was, but
Yeah. It would make more sense if he was more of like a scholarly, like, I'm going to be the keeper of this knowledge I know what really happened here.
yeah.
But he's just like a drunk and is just like a bad father.
He was creepy.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, you're kind of cheering for him because I was like, Mary, what are you doing? Like in backstage at the prom, you're going to cheat on your boyfriend?
Yeah.
And I was like rooting for him, but then I was kind of like, he's scaring me.
I feel like his hairline got better with age.
Yeah, they looked exactly the same age at the prom. It was so crazy.
Like, my boyfriend was watching with me and he goes, he's in high school. But like every actor.
Every one of them, when you scan the crowd, I'm like, these are old people at the prom.
I kind of love it though. Like, I would rather see adults in all these situations than young people.
Yeah. I was wondering how old like Wendy Lyon, the actor for Vicky, was when she kissed her dad. I was just like, oh God, I hope she's like older. And I hope they're just like smushing their closed lips together.
I know, it was so grody.
So, Chrissy, what is your history with this movie?
Oh, so I used to skip school a lot when I was in like, so was this 87? So I was like 11 when this movie came out. I just would miss the bus on purpose. And I recently told my mom this and she's like, oh my God. But I would miss the bus and be like, oops, can't go to school because my mom's at work. And then I would stay home and watch these kind of movies. And I don't know why, like Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2 was such a like comforting movie for me as a kid. It doesn't make sense that would be the comforting one, but it was like so just ridiculous that it was something that just like relaxed me. So I must have had like anxiety as a kid or something and it was undiagnosed. And I'm like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to this class today. I'm going to watch Mary Lou. And
yeah.
I even would like come up, I think I might have told you guys this last time, but the original Prom Night, I came up with a game from that movie for the neighborhood kids called The Killers Are Coming. And because they play that in the beginning of the movie and that's how one of them dies. And I would be like, you guys, do you want to play a new game I made up? It's called The Killers Are Coming. And so I've been crazy about horror movies since I was young. But I don't know why. I loved the two main actresses so much and I wanted to be them. Like I wanted that hair. I didn't want to walk naked through my high school killing people. But I was like comforted by this movie. I think it's much better than Prom Night 1.
I totally get it. I feel like sometimes, like at the perfect time when you need them as, you know, a young person with like really no escape or like power, you know, it's like something you could just see something one day and that made you feel good. And then it just continues to feel that way. And because randomly the like movie version. Okay, so obviously not the newest Cats that came out, but the movie that they did of the stage production. I stole a DVD of that from Netflix. I just never gave it back, and I told them that we lost it. And I don't think they believed me, but but one time I watched that 3 times in a row because it just was like, I don't know why. It was the same thing. Like seeing that, it just felt like a warm blanket.
I think that's like something I saw on the internet maybe like a couple years ago about how when you rewatch a TV show over and over, like The Office for me, it's calming because you know what to expect and you know what's coming. So it relaxes you. It's reminding me, I just for the first time last night watched Leave the World Behind. I keep saying the wrong name for that. And did you guys see it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it.
I don't want to ruin it. Just one of the characters likes a TV show and needs to watch it to feel safe. And so I was like, oh, that's what I did with Hello, Mary Lou, actually.
I love that I guess like that's always exist for like people, but like because I know people have like a favorite book and stuff, but I feel like movies, there's also like books are also great, but with like movies, it's like you really are in like another world. And
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like they say with like friendship, you know, it's like really you could like see somebody every single day and just kind of like magically in enough time, it's just like, well, we're friends now because I just always see you.
Yeah.
And I feel like the movie's kind of like that too.
Exactly. That's well said.
And you were mentioning the two actresses, and I just think their characters are both such badasses in their own ways. And so I really like it that they sort of like imprinted on you at such a young age.
Yes.
Yeah, they are good role models, I think, personally.
that I just keep getting, for some reason in my head, the like, it's a big free country. Like,
yes.
why? You know what my favorite line was as a kid? And it's so funny, I kind of forgot it. I knew watching it with my husband again when we just rewatched it. He never saw it. I was like, I know there's a scene that I love so much in a locker room. And when she does like, a womp bum, a loom bump, a womp bam bow. Like, I used to say that all the time. And like at 11 years old, and everyone's like, what?
Like, nobody else has any frame of reference.
It was crazy how many I knew what they were going to say in every scene, and it was just crazy. And why was it called The Haunting of Hamilton High? When we were trying to find it to watch, that was the original name.
Yeah, it was. I think they just then were like, oh, it'll get more attention if it's prom night too.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it was on IMDb. It said they were both set at Hamilton High, so that's like the only like real connection. But I recently watched Prom Night, the original one. Don't think I had ever seen it before, and yeah, there's like no similarity.
Yeah, nothing at all.
A prom happens in it.
Yeah.
I saw, weirdly, the remake of Prom Night was one of the first, maybe the first horror movie I ever saw in theaters as a kid. And it's not a good movie, but it was kind of a nice milestone for me because I used to be terrified of like really everything and was always like, I don't get why anyone would like horror movies. But I still was like really interested in some kind of like macabre things and whatnot. But then when I watched that movie and didn't think it was scary, I was like, okay, like I could do this. I could start watching more horror movies. I didn't even think this was scary. Yeah.
I love a good teen horror. I always say, I love a good movie where your teenagers are lost in the woods and someone's trying to kill them. I don't.
Classic.
And also school. I was thinking that watching Mary Lou, like anything in the school. Like, what was the movie? The Faculty. I love that.
Oh, that movie's amazing.
Josh Hartnett. So good in that movie.
All the teachers like chugging down bottles of water.
Yes.
It's like, who would think that would be scary, but it's like super scary and creepy.
Loved it.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, high school is terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all traumatized, by going through the system.
Yeah. I was just remembering because my high school time ended very fondly, but the first year was very difficult. And I had gone from a very small charter school to then a public school, and only 2 people I had ever known like went to my school, and they weren't in any of my classes, whereas everybody really else at that school had all grown up together. And so I didn't know anybody, and also was going from like one class of like 40 people to 500 people. And I remember just coming home the first day, and actually I watched a comfort media. I was really into Dr. Horrible, and I remember coming home and immediately watching that and just crying. Just being like 4 years of this? Oh my God. But it got better. It totally got better, but yeah, it's not fun.
That's traumatizing. My husband actually grew up in a really tiny town in the Adirondacks, and no joke, there were 8 kids in his class. So that life seems to me like it reminds me of like Dawson's Creek. His family owned a bed and breakfast, and he went to a school with 8 kids in just his class, and they all are still best friends, like to this day. But
that's amazing.
When he was 15, the family moved to a big city, and he went from 8 kids to like 600 to 800 in one class. And he says it's a traumatizing moment because they all grew up together, and now he lost all of his friends. And I mean, he didn't lose them; they're still all best friends. But I just think it would be such a great life to have been in a school with just 8 people.
Yeah, I gotta say, because I definitely didn't like everybody in my class, but there is something when you grow up with them and you know their families,
Yes.
it's like I can only dislike you but so much, you know. I've shaken your like I know your mom's name and she gave me food once. Like how can I be rude to you, you know, or
Yeah.
how can I think you're a total piece of shit? It's like, well, I don't like you, but I got to be around you, so we'll make it work. Whereas in high school it's like I don't give a fuck about you. Or like a giant school. It's like I don't
Yeah.
care who you are, get the fuck away from me.
That was me. I ended my high school career pretty okay too. I think, but you know why? I always say it was because I think it was around 11th, 12th grade, they started having electives like cinema. And I was so
Oh.
excited to get into this cinema class. And the teacher I had, Mrs. Weiss, she was the only teacher that told me I was good at something. And
Aw.
I was so into that class. There was this time that they all had to take a test. I think the movie was called Nanook of the North. They all had to watch this movie. And I wasn't there that day. I was sick. But she's like, just take the test anyway. And I think I got like a 93 on it. Because I just answered it like how I would assume that scene would go. Her questions kind of, because, we love movies. We're good at movies. But that's when I realized, I'm good at movies. So thanks, Mrs. Weiss.
Yeah. That's so true. A good teacher is like, it's so sad because they really deserve to be given anything that they ever could want ever because they're just like the biggest in my opinion like saints and like humanitarians of
Yes.
society of like I'm not getting any sort of like I make more than a teacher does. I looked it up and I was like that makes no sense. Like it really is crazy. And I had some teachers that were like I had this history teacher at this small school and he I love mustaches and he shaved his like beard into a mustache. He would sometimes do it like just for me. He would be like, I know Mac, you know, he loves the mustache. And then when I graduated, he gave me a picture. He did like a school photo with him in the mustache and he gave it to me. And on the back he wrote like never something like, you know, don't underestimate the power of a good stash or something like that.
Oh my
And
God.
that's still like a treasure to me.
That is amazing.
Yeah, he was a really nice person.
That's amazing. And it's so funny that they might not even know that we feel this way. And they do it. I just got teary-eyed, sorry. They like do it and they have no idea they have this effect on us because they help so many kids.
Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, they're going to see you for that short time and then you're going to just, you know, be gone.
I can just say from the other side, sort of, I mean, special students really do stand out and you want to sort of like lavish like your attention. You want to sort of like foster these kids who like, you know, express an interest in the subject or, you know, work really hard or overcome something difficult. So, I mean, I just want to say, yeah, you only spend a little bit of time with them, but they really do kind of like make it worthwhile. So,
Aww, that's really sweet. I was
and we're
actually
like, and let's talk about horror movies that take place in school.
Yeah.
No, I think it is. I mean, you just smush a bunch of people together, you know, during those ages. It's just, trauma is going to result, inevitably. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not good with crowds. I'm not good with like, being smushed together, like between classes or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
when you said that, I just really was like, wow, if I had to ever be in the same sort of stuff I had to experience every single day, like the throng of students. I made it through and I figured it out, but I now like wholly avoid those areas like the plague and like God, I just imagining doing that every day is oh God.
I have a teenage son.
Oh.
He's in 11th grade. He's almost done.
Oh, good
So
for him.
happy. I always say I can't wait till high school's over. But luckily for us right now, just for a couple semesters, they have a virtual academy now, which is really awesome. It's so cool. We have meetings with the principal via Zoom and he's an awesome guy. I just love the whole school. It's something new they're trying out. And I just wish he could stay in it until he graduates because it's wonderful.
Yeah. It's good to have both. I feel like it's like I had to be out of high school for like a month for an injury, and I was able to stay on top of my classes, but I do remember my dad saying that it's like they pretty much, I think, wanted to hold me back. They were like, well, it's been a month, but since I had done the work, they could like we made a good case for them not holding me back. But yeah, if you can't go to school, there's just nothing without a virtual thing.
Yeah. That's what happened to my son. He was out for like a month, and it was either would he have to be held back because he missed so much, but they said, no, we have this new thing. It's a virtual academy. And I'm like, this is amazing. And he does so much better in that academy. I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
No prom queens killing people.
Yeah. The whole concept of prom queen is so interesting to me as a whole, because like I can't tell you something I would have wanted less in high school.
Exactly.
Like, no, thank you.
And it usually isn't someone you like that wins.
Yeah, it always seemed to be the same people like over and over, and I didn't really know them. I sort of knew of them,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just a couple strata above me.
In high school, actually. I don't have any idea. I don't think I paid attention.
Yeah, it was just they sort of piled you into these like, auditoriums again, for these kind of like announcements. And I was like, this doesn't affect me in any way.
Well, also I grew up on, this kind of stuff, and Carrie blasting the whole school with her powers. So I was like, I want to be anywhere near that stage when that girl wins prom queen. I'm out. Like,
I don't know what those ladies got. What all the,
I don't know if she likes me or not. Like, I've been nice to everyone, please.
Man, I was thinking about Carrie the other day though, and that scene though, I know we're not even talking about Carrie, but
well, like, kinda. This movie is just like it. Kinda.
Yeah, it is Carrie basically. I really do feel like that moment of like being in like a school. I never had to do school showers, thank God. My heart goes out to everyone who did. The idea of that being your first period and you don't know what a period is the scariest thing I could ever. And everybody's laughing at you because when you do know, you would be like, "It's not a big deal, girl. It's okay." But if you didn't know, it would be horrifying. And I watched that scene again and was like, "Damn, I didn't appreciate this when I first watched it."
It's a scary scene when you watch it now. Like, I mean, watching it then, it was scary, but it's like, oh my God, and why are you being so mean to her?
Help her. Like, give her a hug.
So crazy.
It's so cruel. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great scene, though. Like, who comes up with that? Stephen King.
I get why she get, like, I do feel like after you watch that, everybody should watch that and be like, it's kind of deserved what she did.
Yes.
What would you do?
Carrie was a true hero, let me tell you.
Yeah. God forbid women do anything, right?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, God forbid women do anything, right?
Exactly. I want telekinesis powers. No, I was Carrie for Halloween one year, and I didn't plan it out right. In my head, I knew I'm not crafty. But I bought a prom dress and a wig, and my idea was, okay, right before we go out, I put all this newspaper down in our kitchen, and I was probably like 25, living with roommates. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to dump blood over my head, so I need you to help. And I took a bucket of blood from the Masquerade store down the street that I bought, and they dumped it over me. And then they said, you can't get in our car because you're soaking wet, dripping of blood. So I had to let it dry. And when it dried, it was like Band-Aids. I walked around and it hurt. It was horrifying. My God. And I wasn't even going to like a costume contest or something. I just like couldn't wait to get that off. But it was that was my favorite costume. Fun costume.
I feel like it is like a powerful costume. Like, yeah, like nobody else is going to be going to that much trouble.
Everyone kept telling me when I took pictures to do like the eyes and stuff. So this was before, Facebook and cell phones. And so I don't know if any of those pictures exist anywhere. I wish I could find some.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same as I imagine, like as I remember.
Well, maybe you should like keep that memory. It might be better.
I probably just look ridiculous with dried blood all over my body.
It probably looked very scary, honestly.
I know. Oh, goodness. I took some notes, but I think I already said everything. Oh, Pretty in Pink. Did you guys see anything related to Pretty in Pink in there?
The friend?
Yes. In the gym scene, when they were in the gym, just like in the scene in Pretty in Pink, when they like hit her friend with or they call her friend something mean, and she's like, "Don't worry," to the gym teacher, and then she said, "Actually," and I'm sounding like ridiculous right now, but you know the scene in Hello, Mary Lou, it's the same thing. It's like the same exact scene.
Yeah.
Like, then she gets sent to the principal's office or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Pretty in Pink. It's Poltergeist. Carrie, obviously.
Yeah.
I got some Exorcist vibes also.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that like spinning around, when the priest is killed is definitely like Exorcist-like.
So good.
And the father of Final Destination, like Jess, all of her death is very Final Destination.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Except, okay, you know those little twisty ties that got her neck? I'm like, that's basically a pipe cleaner.
Yeah. And also the structure she was hanged from, like, definitely wouldn't have been able to support her, but...
And you show me the giant paper cutter, which was the stuff of nightmares as a kid. Like, I used to, when they would say, guys, do not put your hand near this, my teacher put that image into my head of it falling down. And I was like, heard, I will never get near it. And so you can't show me that and not cut her head off. That's just cruel.
That is what I wrote.
Really?
Yes. I was like, I hope this is where you're going.
Yeah, definitely disappointing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's just like Ducky. Yeah.
Pretty in Pink is my favorite movie.
Is it?
I have a tie for favorite movie. It's Pretty in Pink and Heathers. And yeah.
Heathers is just like
Heathers is
so good.
The shit. That is like everything.
Do you
Another
like the
movie
musical?
where you could just say I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either, but I listened a little bit to because I'm a big Heathers fan. My mom showed me Heathers when I was younger, and I feel like we watched it multiple times. I love that movie, and I was like dubious on the musical, but it's definitely its own thing. But I think it's very good, and
I gotta see it.
You should listen to it.
Yeah, you guys should look for it because I did, it's on some channel. I watched it. I think it's like a London production.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know that.
And it's on something like Freevee or something. I mean,
look it up.
Yeah, look for it.
Ooh, Freevee. And Tubi. I never actually watched anything on Tubi, I don't think.
Oh,
isn't that crazy?
It's got a lot of horror films on it.
I'm a big Tubi fan.
I had someone text me once and tell me, and it was someone, and not text me, I think they DM'd me, and I didn't even really ever speak to this person. And they're like, I'm watching your movie on Tubi. And I was like, Strawberry Estates is on Tubi? Oh my God. I think I made that movie in like 1998 or something? Maybe it was 2000, but somewhere around there. And it's on Tubi, I guess.
Who is the master of Tubi? Like, where are they getting all these things?
I guess they have a lot of old found footage films. I should be checking out Tubi.
I mean, I have trivia and I have some reviews, but is there anything else we want to talk about with this film?
Mr. Ironsides did a phenomenal job in this movie. I do feel like that I did love the acting. I feel like every actor put their all into this, but his all is like a tier above like everyone. And particularly the scene with him and the priest when they're talking, I was just like, he just like dominated the screen. And it's just so funny how in comparison, again, I think the priest did a great job for what the movie, like for what was asked of him. But I don't know. It's like, it just illustrated how amazing he is.
Yeah. He's definitely
He was so intense, you know?
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Yeah.
There's some underrated actors in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, there are some line deliveries that are a little bit, wonky, but I mean, overall, I think the performances are really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's do some trivia.
Okay.
I love the trivia part.
The phone number Mary Lou writes on the confessional booth for a good time call was actually screenwriter Ron Oliver's home phone number at the time.
Oh,
no one called.
No one called? No one called? Oh my goodness, especially back then. I'm surprised I didn't call.
No one called. One person called by the name of Chrissy Champagne.
I was like, hello? Oh, no, I was like, hello, Mary Lou? I'm not you.
The idea of somebody putting like a phone number like that, like it's a bathroom stall in a confessional booth, is so amazing.
That's so hilarious.
With her lipstick.
Yeah. Oh,
how
disgusting
cool
and hilarious.
Was that scene?
I know. And then she just she just paints her lips, in front of the priest. I was like, girl,
you're crazy.
You're my hero.
Such a badass.
Almost every character in the film shares a last name with a cult film director, especially horror directors, such as Wes Craven, Stephen King, George A. Romero, Todd Browning, Joe Dante, John Carpenter, John Waters, and Frank Henenlotter.
Whoa.
I heard Mr. Craven, right?
Yeah,
He's the
Mr. Craven.
creepy science guy.
That is awesome. I didn't pick up on that. Craven, yeah, I remember that, but I love that. Whose idea was that? Was that the writer or was it the director's idea to change everyone's name to... Because there's just so many little hidden gems in this movie.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that was a big wink. It was just like, yes,
we
know. If you recognize these things, you're a fan. Yes.
After filming was completed, the executive producer decided that the film didn't work and hired screenwriter Ron Oliver to rewrite and reshoot several sequences for 1 week and $100,000. This included the climax of the locker room death scene, the rocking horse with the tongue, and the chalkboard whirlpool.
Okay, great job, because I forgot to mention that rocking horse was incredible to me. When the eye first moved, I was like, that was when I texted you, these effects are amazing, because oh my God, that was so cool. And his like weird, disgusting mouth moving. And I loved the way that she just looks at it and says, get out. Like that is also so eerie that she knows already she's kind of in the midst of this possession. It was so surreal. Very good.
Yeah. That rocking horse was the thing that stuck out in childhood. Like, whoa, look at her room. And she's got that rocking horse. And like, this like
she's
beautiful
18 and she has a rocking horse.
Hair. Oh, I did try to do that to my hair when I was younger. So my mom would braid my hair every single night. All these little tiny braids. I had really long hair. And we would take them all out in the morning and I would have this big crimpy hair.
That's so cute.
And I went to school one day and this girl walked past me and she goes, whatever, Madonna, like that to me. And I was like, oh my God, call me Madonna. Like I was so excited. I know she was being a bitch, but
that's amazing.
Looked like Madonna. I'm better than you.
And that's such a like high school, like TV moment. That is amazing. I would be like, thank you.
You know what? I wonder if I turn my little moments from like growing up into these movie moments, and they probably weren't as dramatic as I'm like. But I'm like walking around school thinking I'm, from Hello, Mary Lou, and I imagine it to be more dramatic than it was.
Yeah, but that's I feel like that's how everything is when you're a teen. Yes. It's like, this is the biggest moment of my life right now. Somebody just called me Madonna.
And how's that an insult?
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Madonna's amazing.
Director Bruce Pittman admitted in an interview that the scene with actress Wendy Lyon in the shower and walking around nude in the locker room was purely gratuitous. He said the script originally had her and actress Beverly Henry wearing towels, but he felt the scene would have more impact if they were both naked. Henry was hesitant, but agreed only if they shot her from the back and side, and she insisted on wearing a towel while being chased. When Pittman discussed it with Lyon, she said, "Let's do it." It was her first and only career nude scene, but he said she was a real pro about it, even though she had to spend 2 days of being shot fully nude from every angle in front of a mostly male crew.
Wow.
I think that is amazing.
I do too.
I want to know what the convo really looked like. I want to see camera footage of the real convo.
Yeah, like how much were they drinking that night? And
also, just the idea of being like, it would have a lot more, shall we say, impact if she's actually completely naked. Like, yeah, I guess.
I guess any scene in the history of cinema would have a lot more impact if everyone just walked around completely naked.
Yeah.
And she went for it, though. She was just full on everything.
Yeah, full frontal. Yeah.
It is shocking. I think it's a good job in that way.
Like, she doesn't care. And, like, nobody was really doing that back then. And she walked right in that room like, look at me.
Mm-hmm.
But see, and I do like, I did feel like Mary Lou is here. Like, she gives no fucks. So that was good.
Right. It was impactful. I liked it. I liked that naked scene.
But you're right, Chrissy. I mean, there were like tit shots, but like full frontals was really not done.
Yeah.
So it must have been incredibly shocking at the time, especially. I mean, it's still not done a lot.
There was what was the movie in the 80s? Was it 16 Candles? This is what I was thinking. When they're in the shower scene then, too, and they do show some girls naked, they don't show the front. They'll show, like, boobs in the back, but they never get full. So maybe the director was kind of like, no, we're going all the way with this. We're not going to half-ass this.
Yeah.
Show your whole body. I don't know if she was like, hell yeah. What'd she say?
She said, let's do it.
I can't see that, though. When I look at that actress, she looked like she was putting everything into it. So I could see her, if you were trying to play now, like, two characters,
Mm-hmm.
Mary Lou probably did say, like, no, let's do it.
Yeah, you're right.
That was Mary Lou in that moment talking.
She was so good. I mean, she's like so innocent and sweet in the beginning, but like just with like a look or like, an expression, you can just totally tell that she's been possessed by this other person.
Yeah, she was great.
In one of the few positive reviews of the film, the LA Times called it the blue velvet of high school horror movies.
Ooh.
Okay, that is high praise.
It really is. That's a movie with full frontal, I think. Isabella Rossellini is...
You guys, I never saw Blue Velvet.
I think you'd like it, but maybe you would want to watch it with somebody who's like already a fan. Because I feel like if you're alone and maybe not a teenager, like you might, as an adult, like if like watching on like a laptop screen, just be like, all right.
Like, why does everyone like this? No.
Yeah.
I was thinking of starting another podcast where I just talk about, or like a YouTube thing, where I just talk about all the movies I haven't seen. Because I haven't seen some pretty big movies. Like, I never saw Twilight. I want to watch Twilight. I never saw The Lion King or Top Gun.
Oh.
I was too busy doing like these kind of movies. So I never really... One of my, I believe it was, my mother-in-law asked me once, we were watching some cartoons, like some Disney stuff with my nieces and nephews, and she's like, did you like Disney when you were little? I'm like, no, I was watching horror movies. Like, I didn't watch any Disney. I was straight for the horror right away. They didn't believe me.
Wow.
I was like, no, it's true.
Gotta tell the story about teaching everybody the game.
Yeah. I won't tell. They'll be like, "Don't play that with your nieces and nephews." I'm like, I don't know.
I think it's great. I mean, it really kind of informs like who you are today, Chrissy. Doing your true crime podcast, and you're definitely one of us. So
yay!
I think that's so cool.
I found my people.
For sure.
Definitely.
You should read the book. There's a great book by Stephen Graham Jones called My Heart is a Chainsaw, and I really feel like you'd like it.
Ooh.
it's a trilogy, and the main character is this girl in high school who is obsessed with horror movies and, particularly slashers, and she believes that she is entering a slasher now, and it's very like talks a lot about it. The writer, I listened to his afterword and like cried because he spoke his own. I listened to the audiobook and he was speaking his own afterward, and he just talked about how much horror meant to him growing up, and like that. I just, in the way that he writes the feeling of being scared as a kid, but that making you excited and making you laugh and whatnot is just really good. So I really feel like you'd like it.
I'm going to get that. I have Audible. Was it on Audible?
I'm pretty sure it's on Audible.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because I had to get Audible. Also, it's so much easier because I have to read so many books or in certain cases, and I don't have time because I only have 1 week to get the next episode out, and I don't want to half-ass something. Yeah. So I'm like, I'll get Audible and I can listen. And now maybe Audible can sponsor us.
That would be amazing. I would kill for an Audible sponsorship.
Oh, man, yeah. We're just talking about how much we love horror movies, and you're like, I would kill for an Audible.
I would redact that, cut that.
But Max listened to the trilogy. I listened to the first one, and yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
I'm gonna get it. I'm on it.
Yes.
Would you guys like to hear some reviews from Letterboxd?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
All right, here's a 5-star review from Devin Melnick. Not a boring scene to be had. Great imagination, legit spooky, and manages to keep upping itself and gets crazier with every scene. Legitimately fantastic fun, top-tier schlock.
I love that one. Yes.
K.L. Jonas gave it a 5-star review. Double watch with Sleepaway Camp. Another masterpiece.
Yes.
The performance by Wendy Lyon has to be one of the best in 80s horror. It's extremely creative. Even with a tight budget, it's still got to develop a lot of ideas that you don't see in horror. Genius movie. What can I say?
That is a good one.
I agree. I do feel like this is truly an underrated gem because I don't feel like I've ever heard anybody ever mention it.
I think our friend from Drag Mitch to Hell, Stefan, did mention this to me as a possibility when we were looking for Canadian horror films, because it was shot in Canada, in Alberta, I believe. So, yeah.
Maybe that's why I love Canadian films so much now. Like, I also love, like, Degrassi Junior High. I used to not tell people that because I thought it was weird, but I'm like, no, it's awesome. I love Degrassi Junior High. And I love, there was a moment, there was a TV show on Netflix, maybe back in like 2018, 2017. I think it might have been called Slasher. I'm not sure.
Yes.
But it was like, was it? And it was almost like American Horror Story, but for Canadians. And it was, I loved it so much.
It's so good. Oh my God, I love that show. It's such a good show.
We actually covered it on the podcast.
Yes, we did because we're big fans.
Do it better, I'm telling you. Oh,
I think they know how to get weird with it. You know, they know how to like be ridiculous, which is like, I would rather things be like that.
It's like, have you guys ever watched Degrassi? I know you might.
No, I haven't, because I feel like it was a little bit like not shown when I was watching like cable TV.
Yes, it was hard. Like, I didn't watch all of it until, here's a funny story real quick. For Christmas one year, this person who I didn't really know, there was a local record store in town going out of business, and it was a family thing, and he was like a family member. He was like, I bought a bunch of DVDs as the store went out of business. Here for Christmas, I got you, I know you like Degrassi, I got you this movie. It was Jay and Silent Bob do Degrassi. Because Kevin Smith was obsessed with Degrassi. So he actually was on like 5 episodes and they put it on a DVD. But this person giving it to me was like, dude, this is the funniest movie I've ever seen, man. And I'm like, it's Degrassi. Like, this isn't funny. There's not. So he didn't watch it. He was lying. But still, I was like, I still have it. And so I have a Jay and Silent Bob do Degrassi, which is creepy. So they were like full on, like Kevin Smith had a crush on a girl from the original Degrassi who would be like my age now, Caitlin Ryan. So he had a crush on her in real life. So then he got to do these episodes and kind of like have an affair with her in the show, which is weird because it's like if you could write yourself into a show later in life as someone who now gets to be with the person you had a crush on when you were a kid.
That is very weird.
Yeah. Isn't it? It's like a mind fuck. So it's like I'm watching this. I'm like, this isn't funny.
Yeah, this is somebody's like, this is for him and for him only.
Nobody else is supposed to be watching this. It's the weirdest spin on Degrassi.
That is very sweet. That I wonder if whoever gave that to you was like, that was their kind of brand of humor, and it was like, man, I know Chrissy likes Degrassi.
Yes.
She's gonna love this.
It was
that
good.
Seems like such a Kevin Smith thing, though. Like,
yeah.
He takes fandom to like a whole nother level, you know?
I dig it.
Quick question. What show would you guys, if you were mad with power, write yourself into?
Oh, God.
I was thinking that when I said it. Oh, I don't know. I'd have to think because I'll change my mind 17 times.
Yeah.
You know who I sort of have a crush on, and I've had a crush on basically all my life, is Kyle MacLachlan. So,
yes.
I mean, he's not on, I don't think Portlandia is a thing anymore, but I really liked it when he was the mayor of Portland. I
still quote that show all the time. Like, you know, the one episode where they're hungry and they're trying to order their food and they're like, what's the double down? He's like, there's no doubling down. There's no sharing on the double down. No one ever knows what I'm talking about. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. So would you go into Portlandia or Twin Peaks?
I don't know if you'd, yeah.
I love Twin Peaks so much.
You should go to Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
I feel like. Yeah. Dale Cooper, I would want to get to know Dale Cooper.
I just imagined you being in Twin Peaks. So I was like, what would we do if we were in these shows? Because I just imagined you like sitting at a booth in the diner or something and just like watching Kyle MacLachlan walk around.
All right.
Like you wouldn't actually be a character. You'd be that random extra in the background all the time. Just
I would be cool with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that level.
And then
I would put myself in Glee. For sure.
Ooh, how fun would that be?
But the same thing, I would be an extra.
Yeah, I was like, would you perform?
No, I would not. I would want to be, because when Glee was on, I was very obsessed, and there were some extras that they were like so notable in the fandom because they were always in a scene or like really putting everything into being an extra that people would find them on Facebook. And so I did friend a few of them. I'm no longer friends with them because I was like, this is kind of weird. But like the piano guy in Glee, he was like a beloved character, Brad the piano guy. And so I would like to have a Brad level role where it's like, you don't have to talk to me or I don't have to say anything, but I am here.
That would be awesome. I can't think of a show. I mean, so many ran through my head, but they were only running through my head because of actors that I like on the shows. So it would be weird to be in them. Like I immediately was like Freaks and Geeks. That would be awesome. And then I thought Dexter. Who would I be on Dexter? I would just like, I don't know. And I don't know why I thought American Horror Story, but only Murder House.
So some of those are places I would never want to be.
Right. So why was my brain going there? But I'd probably just pick like, you know what? I should pick Degrassi.
Yeah, you should be in Degrassi. Kevin spit that you can do it too.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna reboot Degrassi one day.
Well, who are you gonna be then? Oh, okay.
I would be like, now at my age, I would be one of the teachers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so mom's gonna go feed I think her kitty Rosie. Yeah, Rosie needs some tuna. Rosie sometimes gets like, she really like doesn't know what like a podcast is, and so so you'd think she'd know by this point, but
that's like I have a dog named Ellie and a cat named Daisy. And when I'm recording up here in the attic, they just come up and sneak up sometimes, and it's so loud. And I also feel like my attic it's haunted. I know it is. And now I'm up here talking because I have this little corner that I record in, and I always feel like it's haunted and I'm scared sometimes, and then my cat will randomly just jump up, and I'm like, get out of here.
I have a very spoiled cat, and she's like trained me to give her tuna whenever I'm in this, basically now whenever I'm in this room. And I don't just use this room for recording. It's kind of my office. So sometimes I can just ignore her, but yeah. It's like yelling at her in the kitchen, like she can understand me, but I'm like, you can't even let me talk for an hour.
I just want an hour.
No, she's writing this down like, I'll definitely get the tuna immediately next time.
Definitely, for sure. Well, I've got another 5-star review, and then I have some 1-star and half-star reviews.
Oh, half-star?
So Crone Dance gave it 5 stars, completely, utterly batshit. By the time Zombie Mary Lou was climbing out of Vicky's chest, I thought I had seen it all, but no, this movie is a gift. Just keep that haunted rocking chair horse with Gene Simmons' tongue a million miles away from me.
This movie is a gift. That was a good review.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Her bursting out, Mary Lou, like literally, and then turning back into Mary Lou, like getting a like soul life, amazing. I love it.
Really cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've ever seen that before.
No.
And yeah, really cool. We See Toe gave it 1 star. Just another stereotypical 80s horror flick. Even has the F word, and I don't mean fuck if you catch my drift. Had something going with the prom premise, but didn't deliver in the sex and violence categories. Oh, Canada, try as you may, it will always be a very sanitized horror that comes out of those parts.
She was butt-ass naked.
She made out with her father.
Oh, so
this is every day in
I want to know
American
what this bitch
cinema.
is watching. That's what I want to know.
Dog Brain gave it a half star. Why did she kiss her dad?
Okay, Dog Brain, let's take a second. I know you have the brain of a dog, but
oh my god.
Oh, Mac, I threw this in for you. P gave it a half star. Ass.
There's the ass.
We always try to find one that just says ass. So
how many just say ass?
It's a common.
You would be surprised.
It's like it's a button, like the suggested. They're like, you ass.
But what's frustrating about Letterboxd is people would just be like, no. What did I just watch? And I'm like, these are not reviews.
I can't do Letterboxd.
Also, ass could be really good.
It's true.
Yes.
It could be that there was a really good ass, and you were just like, "That's all I can think
right?
about."
And doesn't that mean good?
Yeah, this was the ass.
Which this was the bush too. This one was the whole shebang.
The whole package.
Actually, I don't think we got a package in this one.
I don't think we did.
No.
Well, she grabbed some packages.
That's true.
She grabbed a couple. How many packages were grabbed? 3?
At least,
we need a package
2.
count on this.
There was the priest, basically.
Oh, I forgot.
The guy who turns into the priest.
Oh, okay. I forgot to mention, one thing just came back to me. I just love the line where Billy finds Mary Lou and the future priest, and he's like, "We've been dating for like a year. You know, we never got anywhere close to this."
Yeah.
Like, if you really feel for the guy in that moment.
Yeah.
I did. And then she's like, I only like him because his daddy has money.
And even the guy is like, "Hey, back off, Jack. She wants me."
Yeah.
This poor guy.
Poor Billy. Would we recommend this film?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think for sure. Yeah.
Ass. No.
It's ass.
It's ass.
And would we watch it again?
and again and again. I'm going to
Instant
show
classic.
it to my son soon. No. He's funny. He just will not watch horror movies with me at all. But one day he came up to me. He's like, I just watched the entire series of Breaking Bad. I'm like, wait, what? Why? But he does remember, because I always, his name is Max. I always call him Maximum Overdrive. And
Aww.
he's like, I remember that movie, because I would show him the preview and the trailer and try to get him to watch it with me. He wouldn't.
That's so cute. I feel like you definitely heard the story the other way of son that's like, no, mom, like, horror is really good.
Yeah.
Mom be like, come on, son. Start the education.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm jealous.
But your husband watches horror films with you,
Oh, yes.
Right? Yeah.
We do it. I told you guys last time we do one of us picks a movie on Friday and then the other one picks a movie on Saturday.
That's such a good idea.
He's such a champ with like all the horror movies I pick out. I'll be like, I've been waiting so long to watch this one. And then they end up being like the worst ever. And I can't believe I waited that long to watch this. And then I get really good gems sometimes. It's like, you know what? He's really good at picking out horror movies that I didn't even ever hear of. And he'll be like, I found this one. It's got a 97% Rotten Tomatoes. And I never find those. I'm like, well, this one has like 23, but just hold on.
There's
I
potential.
don't trust those. I don't trust the audience. I always like a Rotten Tomato where it's like critic is high and audience is low. And that's always my favorite kind of movie.
Yeah, and really with horror movies, there's no telling what the audience score. Like,
no,
it's again, this one had like a 60 or a 30, and I loved it. So,
yeah,
I rate it 5 out of 5 bushes. I'll say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really glad you brought this to us, Chrissy, because I hadn't seen it before, and it was really, really fun.
I do like the idea of we're at the council at the other side of the table. Like, we really like what you've brought today.
Now
we are pleased.
Full frontal nudity, incest. It's all going to go down in this movie. And
say less. I'm in.
Well, one thing I think we should talk about, though, is how do we feel about the ending?
They're pulling away in the car, right? And then the Mary Lou song starts playing.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's very Grease, which is perfect to me.
Another movie that it was inspired by. Grease.
Yeah. Yeah, very much. Yeah, I could see that totally.
And like the dad being just so like, let's go, you know, he brought the right level of like insanity to it, I feel like.
Yeah, like his character was slowly getting weirder and weirder as it went along.
I still wouldn't have entered a vehicle with him. Like, even if it's like everything's saved, it's like you did enter a prom with a gun with the intent to shoot a teenage girl. Like, you need a second, okay?
You need a timeout. Yeah.
What did you think, Mom?
I felt sad for Vicky and her little boyfriend. Yeah,
because he was really cute.
They went through so much, you know.
That boyfriend might be one of the best like horror movie high school boyfriends I've ever seen in a film. Like, casting was perfect. He looked like such a young hunk. And then, when they first introduced the idea of him, you think, oh, he's a motorcycle guy. Okay. But he's so sweet. He got a helmet for her. And
he had these little like droopy puppy dog eyes.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, he's so cute.
Yeah. He couldn't hurt a fly. And he's just every time just like, I'm worried about Vicky. Like, he's just a nice guy. So yeah, I do feel bad for him too.
Chrissy, have you seen Prom Night 3 or 4?
No, I did not know there was a 3 until you told me, and then I did not know there was a 4 till right now. I had a hard stop at part 2. I was like, they can't get better than this. There's no way.
And that's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably true. Well, Chrissy, thanks so much for having this
Yeah.
conversation
Thank
with us
you.
about this film. I think I'm going to try to get this out before the end of the year. So,
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
what a nice way to wrap up 2024.
I agree. Good holiday film.
You'll have to come back and talk with us again about another film that means the world of horror to you.
Ooh, let's think. Okay, we gotta dig deep. We're gonna come back and talk about Jay and Silent Bob do Degrassi.
Oh, wow.
I've really not experienced Kevin Smith that much. I feel like at a young age could identify like, nope. And so then just did not ever have to interact. So I'm willing to dip my toe in for Degrassi's sake.
The thing is, though, is that we would have to start at the very beginning. Now, let me tell you, I have gone through, 14 seasons now? And that's not even counting Degrassi Junior High. So I don't know. It might be too much to take on.
I mean, that sounds like a podcast all by itself.
I'm going to have to talk to my people about this one, actually.
Degrassi rewatch.
Yeah, I'll think of a cool horror movie. Or even if you guys have a cool horror movie, I want to come back on and talk. Because you're my faves. And I gotta do this.
Oh, my God.
I mean, you talk about Chopping Mall and Hello, Mary Lou Part 2 with me. Nobody does that.
Well, these are two bangers, so
yeah.
Great. Well, Chrissy, where can people find you and follow you and all that stuff?
You can find Residue on any of the platforms: Apple, Spotify, and Amazon Music, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Residue Podcast. Come join me. Come join me on those places.
You have a great presence on Instagram. That's where I follow you.
Aw, thanks.
And I love the Residue that you recently did where you sang along with some of the songs. That was amazing.
I was like, I'm just going to do it. And it was so funny because my husband listens every single time I'm done. He's like, babe, you sing better than that. I was like, well, I'm not going to. How creepy would it be if I was like, and I really got into it. And also, I really did try to sing Sarah McLachlan. And I was listening back. I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm not putting this in I was like, and I will be.
I really loved it. I was listening in my car and I'm like, Chrissy is doing it.
I thought, I was like, you know what? I'm trying to go a different route. If you've noticed in some of the episodes, I'm trying to tell it more like a story. Mm-hmm. Like Mr. Ballin, the way he tells it like a story. And I don't have a co-host, so I can't just spew facts back and forth. So I'm having a lot more fun writing. Or also, I have been trying to not really write. I'll have all the facts in front of me, so I know everything. And then I'll just tell it like you're sitting in front of me. And I'm telling you a story. And
yeah, it definitely comes across. Yeah. That's great. Do you have a show coming up that you want to, tease?
Oh, so this is one that I'm recording it today and tomorrow. And I'm going to put it out on Christmas Eve because I'm trying to stay very consistent. I haven't missed 1 week in a year. And I always want to drop on Tuesday at midnight. And it's going to be Christmas Eve. So it's really weird to say you want to do a holiday episode with true crime, but there's this case in my town. It's kind of near my town. It's about an hour away, but it's called The Village of the Damned, and it's in Dryden, New York. And I've always kind of steered clear of that one because they made a documentary about it, and the mayor of the town just hated that they were even talking about this stuff. And I live so close and I didn't want to, but now I'm doing it. And so I'm doing the first story. There's probably about 4 or 5 stories I'll do, but this little town had a lot of stuff happen between 1989 and 1996 to the point where they say it's the Village of the Damned because it is a nonstop murder after horrible accident happening, and it all kind of revolved around the high school in town.
Wow.
So Christmas Eve, I will be doing the story about the Harris family, who was a family of 4, and they were all murdered in their home like 2 days before Christmas.
Wow.
So that one's coming Tuesday. And then after that, I'll be doing a story about some teenage girls who also had something horrible happen to them in that town. So those are coming next. The Village of the Damned.
Oh, great. I look forward to that. Well, thanks, Chrissy. It's been a blast talking to you as always. And thanks so much for bringing this movie.
Thank
today.
you.
Yeah.
You guys rule.
You rule.